Let's call this meeting to order. Mr. Clerk, please conduct the prayer and flag salute. Everybody, please stand up.
God of the universe, look thou with favor upon these here assembled, and bestow thy guidance upon the members of the governing body in their deliberations. This we ask in thy name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome for the special meeting. In the event of an emergency, the proper method of exiting the council chambers is through the 3 doors in the rear of the room. Sorry. Notice of this meeting setting the date, place, and time has been disseminated as required under the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975. This meeting, Joe, will you explain the meeting, please?
Tonight's special meeting was called for the purposes of conducting a public hearing on ordinances 6136 and 61-37, and 3 resolutions, 2 of which dealing with estimated tax bills, and 1 with an agreement with Linden Cogen Holdings.
Anything else, sir?
No.
Thank you. In the event of an emergency, you already mentioned, please use the 3 doors in the back directly to the outside. Any member of the public wishing to speak during the public comment sessions at the end of the meeting, please sign in on the white sheets provided at the front of the room. Any member of the public wishes, please turn off cell phones, place them on vibrate. If you must take a call, please leave the council chamber to do so. Mr. Borek, please call the roll.
Mrs. Ormond?
Present.
Javik?
Here.
Brown?
Here.
Brooks?
Here.
Cosby Hurling?
Here.
Sadowski?
Here.
Strano?
Here.
Yemekaitis?
Here.
Medina?
Here.
Hickey?
Here.
Mr. Alvarez?
Here. Ordinance on hearing, this is the date, time to establish for the public hearing for ordinances on hearing. Blue signing sheet at the conclusion of the hearing, that's, no, wrong one. Ordinance 6136.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 18, Sewer and Water, of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23, 1999, and approved November 24, 1999, and as amended and supplement. Delete Section 17-9, Sewer Connection Fees for New Users or Increased Flow in its entirety. Add new Section 17-9, Sewer Connection Fees for New Users or Increased Flows for Residential, Commercial, and Industrial.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? In that case, may I have a motion, please?
I move for adoption of ordinance 6136 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemekaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Mr. Porter, can you please read ordinance 61-37?
An ordinance of the City of Linden approving an application for a long-term tax exemption and authorizing the execution of a financial agreement with SRV1 Urban Renewal LLC and SRV2 Linden Urban Renewal LLC.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Has any written communication been received?
No, sir.
Is there anyone that wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Mr. Valvano, please come forward. Please state your name, your address.
Push
Red
the
button is on? In the middle. There you go, it's on.
Dennis Valvano, 1341 Raritan Road, Scotch Plains, New Jersey.
Okay, sir. The floor is yours.
Just for the record, my business address is at 515 Northwood Avenue in Linden. Been a real estate broker and developer in town for 39 years. And so you understand why I'm here. I currently pay over $200,000 a year in real estate tax in the city of Linden. So I have some skin in the game, you can say. I've had a chance to review this tax abatement agreement, and while tax abatements aren't always bad, they're very good vehicles when used properly. I don't know that this one gets the city of Linden to where they need to be, and I'll tell you why. Currently, the city has around $4.7 million invested or in debt on these parcels of property. The debt service for this property is $465,000 a year. You may want to take some of these notes so you can verify this with your department heads, because these are facts. This isn't stuff I'm making up. So you have $460,000 a year in debt for this property that the city pays out every year. This tax abatement agreement, based on the calculations I've done, and I've approached it very conservatively, after both properties are fully built, will net the city in the beginning years about $280,000. Okay? This agreement itself, from what I can tell, if you go to page section, Article 4, that deals with the actual implement and the actual, what they call the annual service charge, which is how they come to the calculation and how it's spread out over 30 years. You'll be told that it's a sliding scale and they pay more as they go. But this is crafted at the absolute bare minimum allowed by the state, right? So it's the lowest you can give away. A better deal can be negotiated. It can be more. So I don't understand when I do the math how those figures jive. And I'm sure the calculations on the payments that are going to come from the development would probably be available from your tax assessor quite easily. As to the purchase itself, I'm not privy to any of those details. I haven't been able to find them. I spent a couple hours on the internet looking for any information about this project. I can't find that it was ever advertised. It's never been put out in public to any brokers, so I'm not quite sure how you came to find the person that was selected. I do know that this was advertised one time in the Home News on March 10th, 2016. An advertisement probably about that big. It wasn't on the city website, so how you found somebody is beyond me. Can't imagine how somebody actually stumbled upon this deal. But so you understand, before you select somebody, the average pricing of multifamily dwelling raw land right now in the city of Linden. The property on Southwood Avenue, formerly known as Big Stashes, the developer, who happens to be me, paid $24,000 per unit for that land. No improvements, no demolition cost, no site plans or anything. That's raw land, $23,000 a unit. Everything else was on top of that. The property behind Linden Towers on East Linden Avenue, which is, if some of you may remember, it was the old Park Plastic building, and then it was a closet or shelving place. Now that's condos. Parkview, I think he calls it. They paid $40,000 a unit for that property. Private developer, no tax breaks, and we're making money at these numbers. paying the full taxes. Market rent or sales. The project, which is scheduled to begin, I only have an under contract number, but they're going to pay $35,000 for that land. So on the lowest number here, if you take 23,000 and you multiply it by, it talks about 118 units, I think it says, or 113. My quick math tells me it should be between $2 and $2.5 million. Somebody should pay you for that. Residential real estate has, in multifamily buildings, has never been more valuable than it is now. Again, I don't know where you are with this, but if this isn't a done deal, you need to make a better deal. You need to make a better deal for the city of Linden and for the taxpayers. If you have any questions.
Councilman Brown?
I'm done.
If anybody else want to speak, well, I want to thank you, one, for coming and voicing concerns. Before you leave, I want to show you something. You were talking about those numbers. If you look here, you just talk about taking notes. I got all the same numbers you here. So what I'm going to be reading is our debt service as well as the agreement as far as the pilot program. So first, I want to address a couple of things. One, call it tax abatement. It's actually a pilot program.
Right.
Which there is a difference. So I just want to
Payment
make
lower
sure.
of taxes. I understand.
And so we're not doing a tax abatement. As far as the 4.7, you're right as far as that's what we're paying on the principal. Now, I agree with you is that at some point we should try to cover what we pay in debt service versus this project. However, there's a few factors that we have to remember, that these bonds were taken out back in 2007. So since 2009, we've been paying over, about $447,000 in debt services and receiving no income. The mayor prior wanted to build a public safety building on there, which would have brought in, as you know, no tax revenue. So this mayor did go out and ask for the developers, and we got someone coming in. Now, that being said, is that I did some digging and the problem is not so much the principal amount, it's your interest payment. And as you know, when you have a non-callable bond, you can't go out and refinance that bond. And the interest that we're paying that bond is 5.625%. So that's an issue that we have. So the object is to build some type of development down there that's going to actually offset our costs of the debt service, because right now we're not getting anything at all. Now, you mentioned that this is the bare minimum. The bare minimum in the state is 10%. And I was in that room when this deal was worked out. Well, it's 10% for the first year. Then it goes to 11.5% in years 11 through 20. And then it goes out, well, that's the bare, but hold on, let me fit. Then for years 20 to 25 goes up to 13%, and then at the tail end of it, it goes up to 15%. That was a deal actually better than what we expected. Now, the reason why, and most pilot programs work, and why towns do it is because, as you know, banks want to decrease their risk. What we have here, we have a case of market risk, or else there would have been some type of redevelopment down there. The market risk down there to the developer is great, and therefore, we're entering into a partnership with the developer to get some type of redevelopment down there, bringing some money to offset the debt service. Now, talking about debt service, you're saying that we should cover it. The total debt service with the principal and interest comes to about $8,532,000 and some change. At the end of this project, when the pilot program is paid, it's coming out to roughly about $11,290,000. So you're talking about roughly about $300 million more. Now, you're shaking your head, no, you disagree. We have, about $300 more. All right. So what happens is that we had these numbers ran through our financial planner, NW Financial. And so when I made my decisions based off of what our financial professionals have given us, taking into consideration what you're saying as well, but also taking into consideration that there's no redevelopment down there as it stands right now, and that we're getting nothing for these properties. In addition, rather than just talk about the price, you have to also talk about the terms of the deal, where there's some cleanup there, and that our attorneys worked up an agreement where we're going to cap our exposure to any cleanup that's on our site. And I believe in phase 2, where we're capping our exposure. We're also getting money from the sale of the land in phase 1 and in phase 2, which can be appropriated to next year's budget as well. So I don't know if you have any other questions or anybody else, but that's.
Anybody else in the dais
I
wants to make a
appreciate
comment?
your comments, but you didn't tell us anything we didn't know already. It's still not a good deal. There's still a better deal out there to
But
be
Mr.
had.
Fallon, you
In
failed to...
my opinion.
No, and I agree, but you failed to mention a couple things, is at the end of the day, we're going to be bringing in more money at the end of this pilot program than we spent out. 11 million is more than 8 million, and what your concern is that we should cover our debt service. But at the end of the day, we have no redevelopment down there, and we're actually paying county taxes. So rather than we're losing revenue, we're also paying county taxes as well as debt service down there. So some type of redevelopment is better than no development at all.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to be polite. The idea that there's no redevelopment and it's some terrible place that nobody is interested in building, to me, is a lot of smoke. I don't believe that this was put out to people who would be in the market to do this kind of a development. It is not on the city website as the Linden train station was. There's nowhere to find any information about this. I talked to guys who could buy and sell me 10 times over, and they said, I didn't know there was anything available in Linden. So I'm baffled at how many bids came in, how many people came after this thing.
Mr. Fallon, I never once said that it's terrible over there. However, you're in real estate, and you know one of the number one rules is location. Location, location,
understand.
location.
I'm building
which
on
plays-
the other side
yeah,
of Route 1 and 9, and everybody telling me I'm crazy.
which plays into your market risk. And let me put it this way, prior to this company, in all these years you've been in Linden, how much redevelopment have you saw down in St. George's Avenue? So,
Don't develop commercial.
I'm sorry?
I never developed commercial property.
Okay,
It was-
but this is
it
going to
was
have
just-
residential units on there.
Yeah, I understand.
So in all the years that you've been in Linden, how much redevelopment have you seen down there? Now we have someone that's willing to take the risk and have backing, financial backing. I think that we should take it.
Hold on, Lisa. Councilwoman Cosby-Carling?
I'm just gonna make my comments before I vote. I've been a little leery about this, one, because it's being pushed, and I know there's, all this issues about not supporting certain initiatives. This is my neighborhood, and the market was tough, so there was no development. And we know that Roselle is about to break ground, and there's gonna be a reason people want to come to our side of the highway now. Not only that, since I've been here, we actually slept on an improvement grant that was supposed to do a greenscape for Linden and Roselle. What happened to that? That would have been an incentive for folks to come also. And my fear, personally, and as a taxpayer, is that it's going to get built and it's going to maybe be empty, maybe not go at the market rate. The Fifth Ward is an awesome place, and it's being developed. It could have been developed earlier, but we had controversy, and we were in litigation with the previous developer. And before I even got elected in 2009, my concern was 30-year tax abatement and all these LLCs. And guess what? If they can't do it, we are still going to be stuck. So I've been concerned, and personally, I can't support it, after hearing all of what we could be getting, if we were going maybe to consider it. And to your point, Mr. Valvano, when Mayor Gabunka was here, I said to him, put a big sign up there on a lot and say, for sale. People need to know that this property is available and it could be developed. No, because we were in litigation. Litigation's over. We threw another $500,000 at the previous developer. And now we're here, and we're going to basically kind of get, I don't even know what a good word is, but we're not getting as much as we could for the property, and it's an awesome site. It'll come. I'm just one vote, and that's just my opinion, but I can't wholeheartedly support this, period.
Councilwoman Norman?
Yes. I just wanted to make a comment that for over 40 years, I've lived in that neighborhood. Over 40 years, I lived in that neighborhood before I moved into the First Ward. At one point, as a young child, there was hair salons, stores, a bank. It was a viable area. As I drive there, because I have to go down that street every day because I visit my mother who still lives in the neighborhood, it's heartbreaking to see that that area has been barren for 10 years. I had made a comment about 8 years ago in a meeting that if it had been past Wood Avenue, it would have been unacceptable for it to stay open and undeveloped for that long. No one would have tolerated it. So we need to take the opportunity right now and let's get moving on it. We have been bleeding at the tune of over $4 million. And now we want to sit back and say, oh my goodness, it's bad. So I asked the question, when was the last time you've come down Wood Avenue to visit a friend, to eat there, to do your laundry or shop there? You don't, but I do. I do, okay? That's my neighborhood where I grew up. And I sit back and I say to myself, I want better for that community where I grew up and I loved. So we need to do something. And every year that we sit back, we just bleed more and more money. And I'm going to ask people just in general, I mean, when you see a big plot of land, it doesn't take a lot to realize that maybe that land is for sale. I mean, I ride past it. Any spot that's open, I have to know that people do want to sell. It's just not just sitting there. So I'm sure developers know that it was for sale. And there have been inquiries about it. So I'm just saying, you know, we have to take the people who have been there, who love that community, know what it used to be like, and have a desire for it to be that way again. And just listen to us. Like I said, my mother still lives over in that area. My mother used to be able to walk to a bank, you know, and it was a wonderful area at one point. And we just want to see it that way again. That's all.
Councilman Brown?
And I don't want you thinking I don't value your opinion. I do. You're in the real estate market. But we've paid, with no redevelopment down there, about 4.5 million in debt service already with no redevelopment, with nothing down there. And that doesn't count the county taxes. Now, what the councilwoman fails to understand is the previous, and it's actually called the Linden Morningstar bond, because we had Morningstar there. And it wasn't the real estate market that fell. It was a credit crash that happened. And so Morningstar wasn't able to get financing at the time to develop this project. I believe Bank of America was one of them, and because I did my research and talked to them. So Morningstar wasn't able to do this because of the financing. So we know financing is an issue as far as any redevelopment project. And one of the things that the banks look for is they want that stability and as far as your expenses. And that's why pilot programs are very popular, and banks like to see them, is that you have that stable payment going through an stable expense. Now, again, I rely on our financial professionals to a large degree, and when they ran these numbers are better than what they wanted us to initially get. Understanding, and they looked at the books of the company, they ran their numbers, they looked at the market and other factors of this nature, and we came out better than what we expected. But, you know, 4.5 million and no development down there, you know, we have to do something. And I think this is the best thing to do. I mean, this has been looked over, research. You know, the same information is available to me, is available to other council members, and I'm reading off numbers that our financial professionals put together.
Anything else, Mr. Mulvaney?
I
Last
agree.
question, I'm sorry, this last question. Everyone keeps saying we can get better numbers, but I'm reading you real numbers. You know, to the councilwoman who objects to it and anybody else, please show me, I said it, or anybody else, please show me a company that you would like to have come in here and the numbers that you believe that we should have. I mean, just to generally say we can get a better deal. We did get a better deal than what we went into.
Don't say anything. Mr.
I
Valvano?
agree 100% that this development needs to happen. That neighborhood needs a shot in the arm, and it probably is going to help generate other development and revitalize, which is the idea of and the basis of a redevelopment project. The concept of something is better than nothing falls on deaf ears when you tell me that, because I know what this kind of property is worth. It doesn't matter if it's on St. George Avenue on the other side of Baltimore, on the corner of John Street, or it's 21st Street, or it's Southwood Avenue on the other side of 1 and 9. It certainly isn't train station value, which is $50,000 a unit, but it is certainly $20,000 a unit property. And my suggestion is that if this was marketed properly, you guys should be getting $20,000 a unit, which is an additional $2 million from the developer. It was not put out in front of people who do this kind of developing. It was, I don't know, I mean, outside of this advertisement in the home news, somebody needs to tell me where I could find it, because it is non-existent. And do not let history repeat itself. You got short-sheeted on Southwood Avenue by Meridia for $5,000 a unit. It got pushed on you. You were told, we're bleeding money, we need to do it, let's push it through. The same dog and pony show showed up in your caucus meeting. The guys that advise the city, who also work for the county, and they came in and they told you, I know these are ominous documents and they're full of legalese. This is a good deal for the city. And with that, you voted for it. I knew that there were people who were trying to get in to bid on that project and were shut out. I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but I'm saying that you need to be really careful, because you only get one shot at this. You can't go back and change what happened on Wood Avenue. But you can make a better deal here, and the city and the taxpayers and the neighborhood deserve it.
Thank you, sir. Can I have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President. I almost fell asleep during that presentation there. I'd like to close the hearing on ordinance 61-37. I move for approval and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks? No. Cosby Hurling?
No.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yamikaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Just before I vote, you know, this is something really difficult because I'm not a professional at this, at the redevelopment game, but I do know that it's a depressed area and it's an area that's definitely in need of an injection. I agree with Mr. Valvano's comments and the comments of Councilman Brown. Based on that, I'm going to vote yes and go from there.
Hickey?
I just want to thank you for coming here tonight, Mr. Valvano. I thought your remarks and comments were very informative, because certainly all of us sitting up here on the dais are not professional developers, and we do count on our professionals for what is happening. My concern was that this property was not properly posted, and we had to pull it from the agenda, and now we're here at another meeting, a special meeting just for this development project, due to the fact that we need 2 readings for a project to be developed. I am all for developing this property. I just want to make sure, as you said, that we are getting the best bang for our buck. I look ahead and look at children living in the apartments and what it costs us, over $18,000 a year per student in our school system, and certainly all these numbers do add up. And I'd also like to cover all our debt service. As Councilwoman Cosby Hurley said about a sign being up and promoting the property, advertising the property, I certainly do think it would make a difference. I do want everybody to know that this certainly is not a vote because it's a personal issue that I have with the mayor. This is a vote because it's about what I care about for the city, what's best for the residents, and what's best for our taxpayers that we have to pay. So I am voting no. Thank you.
Mr. Alvarez?
No. At this time, we're going to do resolutions 2017-224 through 2017-226. Public comments will be permitted for those specific resolutions to be removed from the consent approval. Please read the synopsis of the resolutions which have been prepared by the city clerk's office. Each is informative and self-explanatory. However, if you wish to address a specific resolution, the council will entertain questions on it. Does anyone wishes to remove a resolution? In that case, may I have a motion, 2017-224 through 2017-226, please?
Got it. Mr. President, I move that we, for approval, resolutions 2017-224 through 2017-226, and I ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. At this time, we're going to take comments from the public in attendance. This is not personal, political, derogatory comments. It will not exceed 5 minutes. There's no list there? Anybody is interested in making any comments? Okay, so in that case, I need a motion to close the public comment.
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano? Yes. Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes, before I close the meeting, I want to say hello to Jimmy from South Style Street. Great young man that I met, and I know he's watching. So, Jimmy, this is a hello.
He's not
Motion to
watching
close.
this. This is a special meeting.
Second.
He's watching it.
Okay.
Mrs.
Counsel Con-
Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brooks? Crosby
Yes.
Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Strano? Yes. Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Hickey?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes. Meeting is adjourned.